Hello guys, welcome to Rich Living Mastery YouTube channel where we create content to help you optimize three areas of your life: health, wealth, and relationships. This is Abhishek, founder and CEO of richlivingmastery.com. Today on the show, we have an amazing guest, a man that I've known for a while. We talk a lot, and then one of the things is that whenever I speak to him, every time I get up speaking, every time I finish speaking to him, I get some sort of value, very interesting insights a lot of times. He is Mr. Michael Beale. He is one of the UK's foremost NLP practitioners and trainers. He has 30 plus years working with businesses, working with major UK and international companies. He is the founder and CEO of Business NLP Limited. And to name some of his biggest clients, they are Oracle, BT, and Expedia. Welcome to the show, Mr. Michael. Thank you for spending your time with us.
Great. Glad to be here.
So, an interesting conversation, not only between us, but a conversation, or let's say a debate. A lot of times, a debate that happens in the world, very popular one, is about luck. So, I have two questions for you, $2 million questions for you. Number one, does luck exist?
Absolutely. Sometimes we're lucky, sometimes we're not.
Okay, so what makes you say like how do you, because there's still a lot of debate on people saying there's nothing called luck doesn't exist and stuff like that.
Well, I think it's obvious that sometimes some people are lucky, sometimes people aren't lucky. The really interesting point comes, can we increase our luck?
Yeah, that is what I wanted to get into. So another conversation that we have had was about how people could get lucky. That is something that I found really exciting. So what would you say, how could people get lucky?
Okay, I'm going to add a bit before I answer your question.
Okay.
I've been working on this with my own clients for 4 or 5 years, and it has made a significant difference to many of them's lives. So this is actually a very serious and important topic, and is worth everybody thinking about and taking seriously. And the ideas I started with came from a book called The Luck Factor by Richard Wiseman, which I've developed. And I have to say, I find it incredibly useful. And there's 4 key pointers. The first one is we have to do stuff. In life, because of the ways our brain works, we often almost get frightened of doing things. We have to sometimes live at the edges of our comfort zone and just do stuff, because we don't actually know what works until we do it. So point 1, do stuff. Point 2, be clear about what we want. Because if in life is not going the way we want, it's very easy to set lower standards. But always have a view of what we want and work towards it. It doesn't mean we'll get it, but it dramatically increases the chances that we'll get it. Third point, we're often brighter than we think we are. We know more than we realize. So there is something about listening to our gut feelings and actually listening to that small voice inside us. So sometimes just shutting up, being quiet, and listening, we take things on board. And things like meditative practice, which help quieten our mind, can be incredibly useful in getting us to listen and notice to things we would have otherwise missed. The fourth point is when things go wrong, and they invariably will go wrong, and often if we're ambitious and we go for big things, things will appear to go wrong more, is it's very important that we take the learning from what goes wrong and sort of forget the experience. So when things go wrong, that can be a good thing because it shows we've tried something. What's important is we take the learning from it and move on. And if we do those 4 things, we're actually developing a system that will let us be more successful. And I've tested this time and time again with clients. It works.
Okay, that was nice. Thank you so much for that. That was straight to the point. I think the viewers of this video will find it really interesting that they could actually work on it. Now, to be honest, that some of the things that you mentioned here is something that I work with every single day. I use it in my life, and then I have to say that I feel really lucky. I do get very lucky a lot of times.
Good.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Michael. It has been a really good time. So before winding this up, if you were to give them some advice, any short advice to people watching this, what would it be? Any advice?
Any advice is look at people around us as a resource. Look at the people around us as resource, and don't be frightened of asking people for advice and help. And one of the very best ways of asking people for advice is actually say to them, it's something that was developed by a guy called Marshall Goldsmith, and it's called feed forward. And like we're having a conversation, say I want to be better at something. I'd actually say to you, look, you know me. If you were me, what two things would you do better to achieve better results? And whatever you say, I write it down and I say thank you, and then I'll consider it later. If I go and ask 5 people to come up with 2 ideas in a specific context of how I could get better at something, it will give me a tremendously good starting point of what to do better. Because of the ways our brains work, we tend to get stuck in our own minds. And what's important is that we can ask people for help. However, there's 2 different things. One is asking for help and getting ideas, which is a discovery process. And we thank them for helping the discovery process. But the second part of it is us evaluating what they say and us doing what we've decided to do. Now, there wants to be a split, because somebody's given us advice doesn't mean we have to do it. So we're very grateful to them for giving us advice, because that advice may kick our own thinking off. So I'll leave this with this thought. Keep on asking people for help and for ideas of how we could improve. Because we've asked them doesn't mean that we have to do what they say, but their input will then spark our own minds so we can choose what to do. And again, this is something that the people that put it into a practice, it's dramatically improved their results.
Thank you for that, Mr. Michael. That was really, that was really brief, and then it explained a lot of things that a lot of people could do that, but they're not doing it every single day. It's
A lot
something
of
really simple.
I think there's something very important. A lot of these basic ideas are very simple, but the challenge is people don't do them.
Yeah,
There are a
I
lot of
agree.
very simple things that if we actually do, it will improve the results we get.
Thanks a lot for your time, Mr. Michael. So also, guys, thank you for watching. If you think you learned something from this video, do leave a like, subscribe for more content like this. Also, share this video with someone who you think might want to watch it or might need it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Mr. Michael.
Thank you.